open up that Crystal Pepsi and get comfortable.
This is Dope Nostalgia.
Welcome back to Dope Nostalgia Podcast for episode 230. I'm your host, Naomi. My special guests today are friends of the podcast. They've been on it several times, and we always get deep in discussion about whatever it is we are focused on that day. We've got Quinn and Charlie back. They are from the band The Give 'Em Hell Boys. You can check them out at giveemhellboys.com. GIVEMHELLBOYS.com. Big band, big country band here on the scene in Edmonton. They got a mix of stuff going on, okay? Twang punk is how they describe it on their website, blurring the lines between country, punk, heavy metal, roots, and rock music. Give 'Em Hell Boys are doing great things, and it's always a great time when Charlie and Quinn are on the show. We also used to podcast together way back in the day. You can always check us out at Learning to Listen. That was the podcast that we had such a great time doing together way before Dope Nostalgia days. We decided we were going to get together and do an episode about Sugar Ray, and not just Fly or Someday or any of those songs. We're thinking early Sugar Ray, back before they really blew up. They were a heavier band, almost like a punk pop, even maybe heavier than that. Well, we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about the old days of Sugar Ray. Here's a little bit of background information.
Wikipedia moment.
Please bear in mind that Wikipedia is not to be taken as actual 100% fact. Any donkey could edit it at any time. If I'm reading you the artist's bio, that stuff is real truth.
Sugar Ray is an American rock band formed in Newport Beach, California in 1986. Originally playing heavier funk metal and nu metal style music, the band achieved mainstream popularity in 1997 with their more pop-influenced single, Fly. The song's success led to the band shifting its style dramatically to the more radio-friendly pop sound with their subsequent releases. Their best-selling album, 1459, was released in 1999 and featured popular singles Every Morning, Someday, followed by a self-titled album in 2001 featuring the single When It's Over. The band would release two further albums, In the Pursuit of Leisure in 2003 and Music for Cougars in 2009, though the albums and respective singles generally sold far less. The band continued to tour in the 2010s. Now, in 2019, 10 years after the band's last album, they announced their seventh studio album called Little Yachty. The lead single, Make It Easy, was released the same month. Now, the band members grew up in Orange County, California. Rodney Shepherd played in a number of reggae bands, including working with future Good Charlotte drummer Dean Butterworth. In the late 1980s, prior to Sugar Ray, Shepherd and Stan Fraser played together in a band under the name The Tories. Later additions, Murphy Carges and Mark McGrath, changed the band's name to Shrinky Dinx. After signing with Atlantic Records, the name was changed to Sugar Ray upon threat of a lawsuit from the Milton Bradley Company, maker of the Shrinky Dinx toy. The band's debut album, Lemonade and Brownies, was released in 1995, and though it failed to produce a major hit single, it did earn them recognition in alternative circles. After they gained fame with the 1997 album Floored, in 1998, the singles Speed Home California and Mean Machine from Lemonade and Brownies was featured in the PlayStation game Road Rash 3D and its Nintendo 64 counterpart, Road Rash 64, respectively. Well, that pretty much covers the general idea of the music we're going to talk about today. Welcome, Quinn and Charlie from the band Give 'Em Hell Boys, back to Dope Nostalgia. All right, let's do this for real. Hey, it's Charlie and Quinn. Welcome back to Dope Nostalgia. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Happy to be here.
We always have fun when we do these episodes, I think. I always enjoy your guys' company. And let's talk a little bit about what you've been both doing. So Charlie, of course, we know all about your graphic design and merchandise and clothing store, but tell us more about it.
Oh, let's talk about the clothing. So let's talk about screamfamily.com, my online merch shop with all kinds of t-shirts and things like that. Lots of country music themed t-shirts, helped designed by Quinn up here. And graphic design. I've been pounding out the posters and things like that, but in my spare time, because I like to take the work of a graphic designer and a musician and a freelance artist and diversify that by also learning to become a tattoo artist, so that
Yes.
I have something safe that will for sure always never pay the bills. So you need tattoos. Let me practice on you. I'm still an apprentice, but I'd love to practice on you. That's what I'm saying.
That's how you keep that art fresh.
That's
Always.
it.
Just
Just
be
try something
barely
new.
holding on.
Like I draw on anything, whatever what do you got? Skin? Okay, let's go.
If you get too famous at this, you might lose your creative spark.
Yeah, well, I'd love
So
for
make
that
sure-
to be a problem.
Yeah. So make
We'll
sure you're never
revisit that
too
shortly, huh? Yeah, we'll come back
make
to
sure
that.
you're never too successful. And it's a good start by being on this show. Never too successful.
Hell yeah.
And Quinn, what have you been up to? And tell us all about your radio show.
Well, yeah, that's what I've been up to. It's the radio show. Start Your Own Country on bigeradio.com. Every Thursday at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. Yeah, I play country music for the devoted and the agnostics alike. A lot of the stuff that, people who are like, I like a lot of music, but I just don't know if I like country music. I'm like, yeah, I might have something you like. I might just. So come on over and check it out. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. It's been a lot of fun.
If you're sick of Zach Bryan, check out Quinn's show.
I've never played Zach Bryan,
There you
but
go.
I have played. There's a guy in his band that does stuff that is I like a lot more than Zach Bryan, and right now his name's escaping me. I wish I could remember it, but anyway, yeah. Also, yeah, it's funny that Zach Bryan is the name you picked because I feel like a lot of people right now who listen to Zach Bryan really feel like they're listening to alternative country. They're like, yeah, see, I'm not listening to bro country or pop country. I'm listening to Zach Bryan. But yeah.
Joke's on you.
Anyway.
It's all a facade.
hmm
Here's a nice guy, though. He hung out at Kelly's the other day. Kelly's pub.
Isn't that what everybody always says? We have some friends who work often behind the scenes with some artists. And every time, you want to talk shit about a band that's come through that they've worked with or whatever, they're very professional. They'll rarely say a bad word about anybody, but the code is they're really nice guys. Like they'll never say their band sucks or that guy sucks, but they'll be like, they're really nice guys. You're like,
He came in there to have a drink with his security guard and the day before his two-nighter here in Edmonton at the good old Rogers place. And
swiping
he
on
sat-
Tinder, was he? Or
I don't know, maybe he sat up at the bar and he had a conversation with one of the regulars. The regular didn't know who he was. They talked and talked a bit, and somehow it came up in conversation that he was a country music singer. And then it all came out, and then people wanted pictures with him and stuff. Yeah.
Exciting.
well, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. His meteoric rise to fame it's enough to make you think that he's an industry plant for sure because man, he came out of absolutely nowhere. But I guess he was TikTok famous or something, and
Aren't they
I don't
all
know.
nowadays?
I don't know. But Luke Combs was what was the one? Remember the 6 second platform? What was that called?
Vine.
Vine.
Oh,
I didn't know that. Did you know that's how Luke Combs got famous?
nope.
He was a Vine guy.
I don't think about Luke Combs.
No, well, he's he's definitely more radio bro country by far
do you-
than Zach Bryan is. But
Why do you have to have a certain type of name to be a country star? Like, why do you have to have two first names as your name? Like, yeah, Luke Bryan, Luke Combs, Zach Bryan. What else? What else we got? That's a trifecta.
I don't know. I guess Garth Brooks is kind of two first names, right? You can know a guy named Brooks.
For sure.
Wasn't the dude who hung himself in Shawshank Redemption? Was that his first or last name?
Oh,
Maybe
I
they
don't
were
remember
calling each
that.
other by last names in prison.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I just remember because he carves Brooks was here
Yeah,
in the beam that he hung himself from.
yeah.
Sad ending. He was an
Good,
old
good
man.
times, good times. All
He was an
right.
old man, and then when he got out, all he could do is go and bag groceries. You know what I love about Shawshank Redemption? How it makes you feel sympathetic for a bunch of like rapists and murderers. Like they're all bad people. They're in prison for a reason. And then you're like, those guards are dicks. They should let those guys listen to music and drink beer. You're like, these people are terrible.
Forgot what
Terrible.
they did. Yes.
Yeah.
Why are they there?
Like, listen, Andy Dufresne might be innocent, but pretty sure 99% of the rest of the prison isn't. So,
Truly was a Shawshank Redemption.
And tell us about the band. How's the band been going? Give them hell, boys.
oh, well, we got back from Europe a little while ago. We did 3 weeks
Yeah.
over there. That was good.
That's
Uh,
huge. That's the second time you've done that.
third,
Third.
third. Yeah, I know we got to update our EPK. I think it's
That's right.
we're in the process of doing that right now, actually. Um, yeah, and yeah, I mean that was a lot of fun. Let me just say the crowds over there are just amazing.
Ooh.
Yeah, people, it's a totally different attitude. It's so weird how different people are over there.
Mhm.
When it comes to just so open and yeah, like they want to hear it. They want to hear you and they get excited and they get into it, you know? Like they're not reserved the way we are.
Mhm.
Like how you just have to win people over. It's so hard to overhear people, even the people who really like you will stand there arms crossed, and then come up to you after and tell you played a great set. And you're like, well,
Yeah.
here's an idea. Why don't you clap?
Maybe look like you're enjoying yourself at
Yeah.
some point.
Yeah. Over there, you can figure out pretty quickly whether or not people are enjoying themselves. And for the most part, they really seem like they were enjoying themselves.
Love
Also,
that.
the beer over there,
Mm-mm-mm.
goddamn, like I don't know where. I know in Canada sometimes we get this weird idea in our head that we have good beer or our beer is better than American beer. But when you come back from a place like Belgium, where like it's a religious experience drinking beer over there, it's something else. It's an art form. It's just
Mm.
it's so on another level that when you come back to Canada, just even our best beer is still it just tastes like swill.
In comparison.
It's so hard to get
Mm-mm.
Are
to
you
our
saying that
beer
Pilsner
again.
won't stand up?
It doesn't.
Pilsner?
I love Pilsner. I
No, it
mean,
does not.
but it just can't hold a flame. It just can't.
What about, okay, so obviously you tried some local brews there, probably.
Well,
Some
they're all
what would be considered
local.
craft beer there. Would that be any of the beer that we get from Europe, like
No.
Hogarden?
Yeah, Hoegaarden kind of counts, kind of.
Fuck, I love Hogarden.
Yeah, here's the difference though is that, it's shipped over here. By the time it gets to us, it's not quite the product it is there. The country is so small that like, shipping the beer around the country and even throughout Europe, it's like it, the beer could be from the factory to wherever it needs to go in like literal hours, right?
Mhm.
The beer is fresh, but also on the tap. Like they just know how to pour beer. There's a science to it. Every beer comes with the proper glass that you're supposed to drink it out of.
So many different glasses.
There's
Yeah,
reasons for the way the glasses are shaped.
Science.
yeah, and there's certain beers that like, yeah, they have bottle beer too, and you can drink out of the bottle, and it's still pretty good. Like even their like I don't know, their basest, like, bottom of the barrel, I guess, beer is still just like head and shoulders above any of our domestics, at least. We have some great craft brews and stuff like that. But when it just comes to like the thing that if you go to the bar and you just go to any neighborhood pub, like like a neighborhood bar here, like, and you go and get something off like the tap, right? The experience you're going to have here is just dog shit compared to just going there and going and seeing what like they have on tap. It's just fucking just liquid gold pouring out of these things. They hand it to you. It's it's strong without tasting strong. It's all delicious. It's so
They
drinkable.
don't do IPAs there, do they?
No.
No.
I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
like
I
uh
hate those.
they I don't know, like yeah, they have these
Nice
strong
ale.
they have these strong beers, like 8%, 8.8, and the 8.5% is common. That's like a regular
Hmm.
beer. And then you can drink them all night and then wake up the next day like none the worse for wear, like no
Feeling like a
hangover.
million bucks.
It's
Feeling
weird.
fine.
Yeah. If you did the same thing
A
here, if you
million
like
euros.
there'd be nights where, we would have to drink our weight in beer. And then, next day, like maybe a little sleep around the eyes because, it's not like we were going right back and going to bed and getting a solid 8 hours. But that'd be the worst you'd feel. It wouldn't be because you were hungover.
Mhm.
It'll blow your mind. Anyway,
Hmm.
Yeah.
Dan's
that's
I'll
been
have
cool.
you.
tour.
I'd like you to know that I am the worst pourer of a Guinness at the restaurant I work at that rhymes with Austin. Austin.
Austin Pizza.
Yeah, Austin Pizza.
Well, yeah, they don't really drink Guinness in Western Europe. Maybe in some of the Irish pubs or like in the Netherlands a little bit, but I think it's only tourists that ever ask for a Guinness. Why would you? They've got amazing, like, they've got good stouts, great stouts. Triples, they love their triples.
Yep.
Yeah. Just lots of great beer. Lots of great beer. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad the band had a good time there,
Drinking beer,
drinking
Hmm.
beer and playing music.
playing music. Yeah, we got to play some really cool shows too. So,
Absolutely.
and a lot of these, oh man, a lot of very small rooms for the most part, especially the time of year we went. Like in the past, we've gone and we've played some festivals and things, but this time we went, it was a little later, like after summer, very beginning of fall.
Mhm.
And so festivals weren't really happening. So these were all small kind of, you know, village cafe bar
Mhm.
places. But man, it's wild. They fill up. People are wild. Like they know how to have a good time. It's just the culture is just different. Yeah.
Are they good at following the band after you leave? Like, when you've talked to the people you've met there,
Yeah.
and are they
Somewhat for
good at,
sure.
is it a good way to create a fan base?
Well, if you go back, they'll definitely come out and see you again. That's for sure. They buy merch.
They buy merch. Case in point, for sure. Like we've played a couple of places where people would come up to me after and say they were like, "Yeah, we saw you here before." The last time we were here was like 7 years ago, and they're like, "Yeah, yeah, we were here." you know,
No way.
yeah, we got your
That's
shirt. Yeah, no,
amazing.
we got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's yeah, I feel like if you can go back often enough, you can
Mm.
definitely build a following for sure.
Well, we've gathered here today to talk about a band that doesn't have any kind of a history like what we've just discussed. In fact, this band became very commercially successful in pop, more of a pop rock way. But when they first started out, man, this was not what they were. They weren't making the same kind of music. I'll just say that. Right?
Mhm.
I watched we're going to talk about Sugar Ray.
Wait, I thought we were talking about Shrinky Dinx.
Yeah, what about Shrinky Dinks?
First, we're going to talk about Shrinky Dinx. And it's not a toy or an activity. No, no. It's a band. They were formed in Newport Beach, California in 1986. And yeah, I how did you guys first hear of Sugar Ray? Did you hear of Sugar Ray before the pop stuff or did you hear about it after?
I'm sure I heard Fly first, and then I was like, "Oh, Fly, okay, cool, whatever." And I checked out the album, and the rest of the album is not like Fly. Floored is not like Fly.
Mm-mm.
And then I would have got looked back and grabbed their other album, Lemonade and Brownies, and that was like, that's the good stuff. That's the good shit right there. I can't wait to see what this band comes out with in the future.
Yeah, no doubt.
It was
What
not
about
the
you,
same.
Quinn?
Okay, so I have two ways that I heard about Sugar Ray first. Number one that I remember was the 1997 buddy comedy movie Father's Day, starring Robin Williams and uh, God, what's his face? Host of the Oscar, Billy Crystal.
Oh,
Oh
yes.
yeah, okay.
So in that movie, Um, a woman who has a teenage son who has run away convinces two men that she used to have relationships with that they're both potentially the father and they need to bring back her son. Now, the son ran away to follow a band. That band happens to be Sugar Ray. So
Oh,
they were in the movie, and
okay.
I think they in the movie, I don't know, remember what song they were playing. It definitely sounded something more like one of their early kind of, you know, heavier, more rock hits. But they were also featured in two video games from the era, and I
Hell
think it
yeah.
was Road Rash and Road Rash 3D
Road Rash for sure.
Oh,
for like the like Sega Genesis or no, I guess it was Sega CD because I don't think they could have rendered their songs. But anyway, something like that or the Jaguar, something like that. I just remember playing one of those games with a buddy and it had like what's the word I'm looking relevant soundtrack of the day of kind of hard rock bands, alternative rock bands. I don't remember who else is on the soundtrack. I just remember if I think about Sugar Ray, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I heard them on like Road Rash or Road Rash 3D, probably Road Rash 3D. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So those were the two places I heard them first. Then of
mhm.
course Fly came out, but where I discovered that they had a history of supposedly being a hard rock band before they went pop rock was because working in a kitchen in the early 2000s or like, I got to hear the history all the time about like what sellouts these guys were and how they used to be cool. And then I had got to hear that album, Lemonade and Brownies,
Yeah.
from the guys in the kitchen out of the good old CD binder. And they'd be like, man, you listen to this. This is way better. This is so cool. This is better than Fly. Fuck Fly. This is bullshit. Whatever, right? So that's it. Otherwise, that's all I knew about Sugar Ray. I heard the songs on the radio. I heard the songs in the movie. And I do remember that Mean Machine would get played on Beavis and Butthead.
Oh yeah, yeah, that too.
So, but yeah, I don't remember. Like, I don't remember ever really paying attention to Sugar Ray from Beavis and Butthead, though. Like
No.
the way I kind of discovered other bands, like the Primus or White Zombie or something, was kind of really more through Beavis and Butthead. But
Rev Norton Heat.
yeah, it's a psychobilly freakout. Uh, but I do recall that yes, the because I remember seeing the video for Mean Machine years later and being like, oh yeah, I saw this on Beavis and Butthead. So anyway, there's my history with Sugar Ray,
Do
and then
you?
Mark McGrath sucking in his cheeks and doing this on E.
Oh yeah. Is he on E or Access Hollywood?
Maybe one of those. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a TV guy
Probably
now.
both.
Yeah.
Him and
Apparently he had a
Mario
good run.
Lopez.
Apparently he had a good run in those days on Celebrity Jeopardy too.
He is very knowledgeable at music trivia. Very knowledgeable at music trivia. So that's an interesting fact about him. But do you think that there are Sugar Ray or Shrinky Dinx fans that are like hardcore into the early stuff who are kind of like those old school Metallica fans who think the new stuff is shit? Well,
Well,
I love the old shit.
I have
Anything after Fly is garbage.
well,
I'd
there's
be one of
definitely
those guys.
Hey, I was gonna say I want to hear Charlie talk about this because I learned a lot about Sugar Ray in like a little while ago, and I learned a lot about them. So,
Good.
okay, this is Charlie's idea, and he's definitely one of those guys who like I only want to talk about the first three albums, and then that just, by the way, hits me like in a way that's really interesting and funny because
That's
now that
it.
I know so much more about them, I want to know why the first three albums. But anyway,
First two albums, really. It's really just Lemonade and Brownies and Floored, and then that's after that I kind of stopped paying attention to them. I
Yeah.
thought maybe there was one before Lemonade and Brownies, but I guess there isn't. But you know what? I mean, the riff rock, just the stupid fun of it. That's what really brought me to Lemonade and Brownies the most. Like just it's dumb fun and it's ADHD enough. Like, you know, it's sometimes it's a rock record, sometimes it's like some chill beats, you know. Sometimes it's a party, you know. Sometimes they're singing about Danzig needs a hug, you know, like
Mhm.
Well, interestingly, you mentioned the song Danzig Needs a Hug
mhm,
because that is Fly before Fly.
kind of, yeah.
Here's what I found really interesting. So I had never ever bothered to actually listen, or I heard this album back in the day, but you know what? It wasn't one that I sat down and just like listened to on my own. It was just background noise in the kitchen, you know, and it would just get played between like Ubastank and like 3 Days Grace out like CDs, right?
Yeah.
So it just, filled into the noise. If anything, sometimes I think I would mistake it for Kid Rock.
No.
It definitely has some Kid Rock vibe. Oh boy. Not only that, but I will tell you the song that is the Shrinky Dinx song, what's that one called? Caboose.
Hmm.
It's Kid Rock.
Yeah.
It's Kid Rock pre-Kid Rock. When they made Caboose, they were still a Shrinky Dinks. It was before they got signed. And I'm actually going to say that they may be a little bit ahead of the time. I know they were just trying to be as cool as any of the California bands that they were like, influenced by at the time, but they had a turntable in the band. They had a DJ
They
in the
did.
band
Yeah, they sure
before
did.
most other bands that jumped on that. They did it pre-nu metal. Like if anything, it's weird that like they didn't get like kind of caught up in the whole new metal thing. They were that close. They almost did.
They just did a hard left, you know. They're
Well, they
like,
didn't
nope, this
even
way.
do a hard left though, because there's at least three songs on this album that are very much like Fly. And when I listened to the whole album, I realized something. It's not that they sold out and went in the direction of Fly. It's that they threw spaghetti at the wall and saw what stuck.
Yeah.
And they did that on this record, and then they did it again on Floored, and Fly just happened to be the one that stuck.
The
But
one piece of
then if you
spaghetti that
continue
stuck.
to listen to their albums after that, they still do it again. It's just that Fly being the one that was like, yeah, okay, that's blew them up into the stratosphere. The record label after that was always like, yeah, we're gonna pick the songs that sound the most like Fly.
So Fly Part 2, Fly Part 3, Fly Part
Yeah,
4
but they still
was
put
the 1459 album.
they okay, yeah, 1459 opens with a heavy metal song, right? And it's got Mark McGrath doing like vocals on it, you know? And he's like, we're just goofing around a little bit of black metal, some death metal, whatever. You're like, what are you talking about? Yeah. I think that this is a band that you can't say sold out. I think they always, well, for two reasons. A, if you're saying they sold out, then you have to say that that means that they were ever a credible band in the first place.
Bingo.
And B, they never had a musical identity. Their musical identity is only in the public's eye because of the singles. And maybe later on, I guess some of their late, like maybe after the first three records, they did kind of stay a little bit more on the mellow side. But that also had to do with the songwriters in the band aren't really Mark McGrath. It's I don't know their names, but it's the drummer and the DJ.
Right.
The drummer writes most of the songs, and the DJ, and they're the ones who wrote Fly. They're the ones
The,
who wrote like,
they wrote Fly when Mark McGrath stormed off and was being cranky and left the
yeah.
practice. And they're like, all right, well, I guess we'll work on something.
What is that going to show you? It shows you that when Mark McGrath is around, even though like he's Pretty Boy or whatever, he's the one who's like, like, hey guys, let's just fucking sing about our cocks and like, you know, like punch walls and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you ever see the video, the clip of him like leaving a party at Madonna's house and paparazzi, somebody yells out, "Sugar gay."
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, he even admits it himself. I got to give it to him. I saw this in an interview later because it's one of those things where it was a little bit pre-social media, so it didn't go viral at the time. It got picked up by like TMZ and stuff, but like, whatever. It was just on TV and then went away.
Mhm.
But then 10 years later, it gets put back into like the viral, like fucking social media sphere, and people are commenting on it, being like, what a piece of shit. And he saw it and was like, yeah, okay, listen, that was at the height of like Sugar Ray's fame. I was in the middle of my ego era. And he's like, yeah. And somebody yelled sugar gay, and I reacted badly. And of course, like a total dork, instead of going after the guy who actually said it, and you can see this in the video, I picked the smallest guy I could find and bullied him. But he totally owns up to it too. And you're
Do you
like,
think
that is
he's got,
exactly what happened.
do you think he's more endearing now because he's self-deprecating?
I think that he is grateful because he gamed the system.
Well, he admits right in the beginning that he was a shitty singer. He knew he wasn't a good vocalist, and that's why he tried to hide that in so many ways with his charismatic performances and videos, and
I also think
because he knows he's not a good singer.
I think the rest of the band sometimes gets a little bit upset with how much he talks about how bad they are or were.
Especially,
Dude,
yeah.
stop shitting on our talent.
He does. He talks about like, man, we could barely play our instruments. We didn't know what we were doing. But then you listen to it and you're like, I mean, yeah, you guys are not like, blowing my mind here, but like you're totally capable.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, this is the other thing too, is that the whole Shrinky Dinks thing blows my mind because yeah, they were a band starting in like 86 or something like that. And they'd gotten no traction for years and years and years until their buddy McGee, who obviously went on to be a famous director, directed a bunch of cool, like, well, when I say cool, I mean like made his mark
Popular.
popular. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big name.
Well directed music videos in the 90s. And then he's gone on to even do movies and stuff since, right? But
Yeah.
at the time, he borrowed $3,000 from his dad to make a music video with his buddies in this band, Shrinky Dinks. They had zero following. They had played a bunch of shows, but at that point, all they were really doing was like doing like, early Red Hot Chili Peppers covers and they wanted to be like turnstiles and stuff like that. That's why they got a DJ in the band and they had only written two songs ever. And one of those songs was Caboose.
Hmm.
That's the video they made. By the way, they totally remade that video when they actually had a budget from the record label when they did get signed. The video for Caboose and Mean Machine are nearly identical.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the things they did in the video that was really smart though was they went to a couple of shows and they just managed to get footage of McGrath on stage with like a big crowd in front of him and a circle pit going. Not necessarily for a Shrinky Dink show, just a California like hardcore show somewhere where it's like, yeah, he got up on and grabbed a microphone and sang a few like lyrics or whatever, right? That then they put that video in a pizza box. They made they made like hundreds of copies of it, put it in a pizza box so that when it showed up at record labels, it couldn't be ignored. It wouldn't just get shuffled away. It'd be like, what the hell? This is a hard thing to deal with. It couldn't just go in the slot. It had to go and it'd take up space on a desk. So people would be, what the fuck is this? Open it up. And then they lied and said that the footage of them playing to those crowds is proof of all the shows and the big fan base and huge following they have. And that they
Yeah.
have hundreds of songs ready to go. All they need is a record contract to, make them happen. All lies. Total lies. But there was no social
Yeah.
media at the time to track how many fans anybody had, right?
Exactly.
So it's not like there was a bidding war or anything like that. But eventually somebody at Atlantic was like, you know what? If they can produce quality content, like the video looked pretty professional for its day. It was shot on like 35 millimeter film and edited well and whatever, right? $3,000 went a long way at the time, and also the fact that they went out of their way to like do things like the pizza box or whatever, gave them a chance. Basically said, now you have to change your name from Shrinky Dinx to something else because we're gonna get sued. Shrinky Dinx is like a
It's a
It's a
licensed
toy.
thing. Yeah.
property toy. And then that's where you end up with lemonade and brownies. And part of the reason that every song on it is so different in so many different directions, and why I think they maintained it for several albums where they were, throwing spaghetti at the wall, is because they'd only ever written two songs. They didn't know what they sounded like. They had no idea. So they were like, are we a hard rock band? Are we gonna be one of these like, at the time, like alternative radio rock bands? Like some of this is so 90s, it's crazy. Like a trope of like what was going on, right? Or who knows? Like, like the DJ and the drummer seem to like some mellow beats too. Like, are we gonna be these guys? Like, yeah.
Something else that contributed to their success, though, was a cover that they had done. Um, there was a sixth grader who had written a couple songs. One of them was called the Psychedelic Bee. Have you heard about that? The
No, I
sixth
don't know
grader,
about that.
sixth grader by the name of Howard Stern.
Okay, yes, I did. I did know this. Yeah.
And they covered that song, and Howard had them on his show.
Well, wasn't that like so they did lemonade and brownies, and then that didn't go so well for them, and everyone was like, "Oh, nobody really cares." And then they were messing around, and then that's when they went and ended up doing Howard Stern, and then they did Psychedelic Bee, and then they kind of got a resurgence in popularity or an interest at least. And they're
I
like, "All right,
think
well, I guess make Floored," you know.
I think that definitely helped them a lot with
Mhm.
getting attention. Absolutely. I think in a big way, Howard Stern probably contributed to what would become success for them.
I mean, that makes
Yeah,
sense. Yeah.
yeah. But I wonder how they got after that song. What is like how would this song was written in 1965?
Right. Well, I'll bet you at some point it was probably played on Howard Stern. They listened to Howard Stern a lot. Maybe they had like a
Yeah,
recording of an Howard Stern show.
yeah.
Did it ever get released?
I,
Oh, I
it
don't know
says
about
here
that.
the electric comic book story got even crazier when Sugar Ray covered the Psychedelic Bee live on the show. It appeared on their 2005 Best of album,
Oh, very
meaning
good.
Howard actually got royalties for the thing.
Huh.
So, yeah.
So
But
was
that,
so was it that they got on the show because, they were promoting something and on the show they surprised him with a cover?
from the way I understand the story from watching this documentary, they covered the song and then they were nobody and Howard had them on the show. Yeah, that's the way I understand the story, but correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't
The
know.
name and the
I
name
thought
of
it was that.
Howard's group was the Electric Comic Book.
Right. I thought it was that Howard Stern had them on the show, and that's when they covered the song on the show. Like, just like, oh, we're out here. Like, let's cover, like play one of your songs or something. Like, I don't know how it went,
Okay.
but I
It
thought
could
I
be.
thought that's how it went. I didn't do a lot of research.
No,
I
no, no,
just
that's
listened to
fine.
the albums again and enjoyed them.
Okay, well, I kind of went off on a little rant there for a little while, but I was going to ask you, Charlie. So, especially now knowing that you have just re-listened to the first three albums.
Two albums. I didn't really dig into 1459.
Okay, but like, yeah, do you see what I'm saying? Like when I listened back to Lemonade and Brownies today, I was like, I'm like, there's at least, yeah, more of it is kind of a heavier sound than not, but there's at
Hmm.
least three songs on there that are, kind of mellow, like
Yep.
poppy rock, not quite as sugary as Fly, but like
Right.
in that direction, like moving in that direction. Like Danzig Niggy's a Hug is one of them.
Yeah, but the thing I liked about that is I like the sort of balance that it has. Even though it's throwing shit at the wall, it's like two different kinds of shit, right? It's like the heavier stuff and then the chill beat dance beat kind of stuff or whatever, right? And I like that, they kind of use the more mellow dance beat kind of stuff as like interludes a lot. in between the heavier songs, right? So that's kind of the flow always kind of worked for me because it was like, here's a couple riff heavy songs, and here's a hangout, like a fun, chill little interlude kind of thing, and then here's another couple heavy riff songs, and then
Well, I do really appreciate that they are a band that plays around with a lot of styles and
mhm.
experiments and stuff like that. Like I dig that with any artist, even ones that are more defined in their sound or their style or whatever, or ones that are a little, have a little more depth in their lyrics.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I didn't hate listening through Lemonade and Brownies, but I was like, oh, this is a definite time and a place and a vibe. This is not like, I don't know. This isn't reaching into the depths of my soul. This is definitely just like party rock on its
Mhm.
sleeve, like or on my whoever's sleeve.
And somebody's on
On
Mark
somebody.
McGrath's sleeve.
Yeah. But it's interesting to learn that history that they were a band that were like the fact that they were at it for so long and had never really like they just got excited when they finally wrote two songs. And I don't know what the other song was if it ever got recorded, made an album, but they were like, "Oh my God, guys, we figured it out. We wrote a song." They were like, "Let's get a record contract. How do we do that?" My buddy McGee just finished film school and he can get a loan from his dad and we'll make a really like slick looking video and that'll convince the record companies that we're a big band, like
You got to
like
appreciate their enthusiasm,
Sure. Fake it till
regardless.
you make it
Yeah.
100%, and it worked ish.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
no, it
well,
worked. It
I
worked.
guess
It
it's
worked.
the dress for the job you want,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
theory, right? Like
Yep.
it it worked. I mean, what a surprise to the fact that they probably already had the record contract and started, booking shows and the labels looking to tie get a piece of that following that they've already got up and down the West Coast, and they're like, wait,
All right. Bring
like
your hundreds of songs and tons of fans. Let's go, guys. And they're like, whoa.
maybe the name change really helped them kind of mask that a little bit. They're like, oh no, nobody's
Nobody
gonna
knows.
know who we are.
Everybody's a Shrinky Dink fan,
We're gonna have to
Shrinky Dink's fan.
rebuild our fan base.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
We have
Yeah.
no way to reach our fans because there's no social media.
Well, that's just
So,
it,
so
right?
that's why they won't know who Sugar Ray is.
That's it.
Like
Uh,
these days, it's crazy. People won't give you the time of the day if you don't have at least 10,000 followers on Instagram or whatever,
yeah.
right?
I mean, back in that time though, 97, computers were a thing, websites were a thing,
Right, but
but
they
they
got
weren't
signed
as
in
commonly placed, right? Yeah.
they got signed in like 95.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. There's
And
another
most
way that
people didn't have a computer in their house yet in 95.
I
No.
just remembered another one of the ways that I kind of found out about them was one of the songs from Lemonade and Brownies, 10 Seconds Down,
Mhm.
was on the Escape from LA soundtrack. And I remember seeing that movie. And that movie, I mean, at the time it was pretty cool. Now it kind of, what rewatching it maybe seems a little boring, but the soundtrack is still pretty good.
It doesn't hold up to the original
No, for sure.
uh,
But
Escape from New York.
like this I remember the soundtrack having like I think some White Zombie, some Tool, uh some of these guys, and like some other fun like weird alternative shit like that, right?
Well,
And
it's interesting because they were kind of going in that direction,
right.
and they could have been another like I don't know what's a band that they're kind of analogous with at the time, like a I for some reason the name Flybanger is coming into my head, right? But what's funny too is that apparently in their inception they were jamming with guys that kind of came and went through like the band that some of those guys like went on to be in like Good Charlotte and stuff.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy me to think though that like in 1986 these guys are like in high school and starting bands, and like it's not until they're like pushing 30 or like whatever that like Good Charlotte is like, why don't we put on some eyeliner and sing about being in high school?
Oh
You
my
know,
goodness.
like you ever been in
Were
high
they really
school?
that old by the time it hit?
Good
Really?
Charlotte, Good Charlotte hit
Yeah.
probably not until like closer to 99, 2000.
No, but their ages.
Oh, for sure. There's a lot of bands like that. Look at man, while we go through the punk rock Hall of Fame or the pop punk Hall of Fame here. Billy Talent.
Yeah.
Those dudes were like in their 30s and by the time they hit, and they were singing about like getting beat up by bullies in high school and turned down by girls and stuff, you know.
Yeah. Some
Yeah,
41
then
maybe.
again, you know, I guess Chuck Berry, same thing. Sweet Little 16. Yeah, even the Beatles. They were
Sure.
they were maybe even down a little on the younger side at the point, but she was just 17, if you know
You know what I mean?
Oh,
what I
right.
mean.
Ten Seconds Down, yeah.
10 Seconds Down is still a great song. That's
I
probably
took a
my
listen to that.
favorite song on that album right now.
It was promising to me. I like the verse and all that, but the chorus just kind of annoyed the shit out of me. That's the screaminess. I just can't.
Well, yeah, that makes sense for knowing your
For me, yeah. But if you like that genre, it's good.
between Mean Machine and 10 Seconds Down. Those are the two, I think, standout tracks on that first album, at least.
Mean Machine, I do remember from back in the day as well, and it could have something to do with Beavis and Butthead, but I do remember seeing it in the Much rotation at some point.
For sure, it was around a little bit, and I think those were like, yeah, my earliest probably hearings of this band. And then I was like, okay, these guys rock, great, cool. What else they got? Right? It's fun. It's it's silly, whatever. It's fun. Let's go. And actually, this was something I just noticed. I just found today. I hadn't heard this before, but looking at just reading the Wikipedia about it, when I was listening to it earlier, and I don't have the Japanese bonus tracks, but on the Japanese bonus tracks, they do 3 covers, and one of the covers is a cover of Wango Tango, the Ted Nugent song, and it's it's a silly song, and I like it as a song, as a Ted Nugent song. So I got a kick out of that, and I went and I found it on YouTube. Maybe it's not as good as the Ted Nugent version, but it's a neat cover. It's like, oh, hey, fun, cool. They also covered Black Flag song White Minority and a Circle Jerk song Wasted. So they were just kind of like all over the place with their covers there. But I mean, if any of those 3 would have made it onto the album, it would have just been another, scattergun, spaghetti on the wall kind of effect, right? Like all over the place. Here you go.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey friends. I kind of miss getting those messages on my answering machine like we used to back in the day. What I'd really love is to hear from you, the listeners of Dope Nostalgia. This is your chance to be on the show, giving feedback, telling us what you love, what you hate, and who you'd like to see more of. Call us at our new toll-free number, 1-888-741-9192. Leave us some feedback. Your message could be played on the show. So give us a call, 1-888-741-9192. Toll free.
Hi, this is Stacy.
This is Sarah.
This is Ellie.
Amy Sue.
We're Nobody's Angel.
And this is Dope Nostalgia Podcast.
Throw on your Jinkas, Baby Tees, and Doc Martens, grab your Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper, and join Jackie and Danielle on a journey to the late 90s as we reminisce about the movies of our youth on the No More Late Fees podcast. Don't forget your flannel and butterfly clips. And remember, be kind and rewind.
Don't I get 2 pan pizzas for the price of one?
Don't think of it as one pizza. Think of it as one pizza and one box.
What am I going to do with a box?
Ever hear of origami?
What's that?
A pterodactyl.
A what?
At Little Caesars, you never get 1 pan pizza and 1 box. You get 2 great pan pizzas for 1 low price.
There's some things I noticed about the album itself, Lemonade and Brownies here from the Wikipedia. The cover of the album.
Yep.
Nicole Eggert from Baywatch is in the
Oh.
in a compromising position.
That was another stroke of marketing genius because think about
Beautiful.
how
She's
many.
naked. She's
Yeah,
That's sold albums right there.
face down, ass up.
Let's get
A lot
that.
of-
I'm going to get
a lot
that
of-
album.
a lot of program directors don't play the stuff that they get, but they said a few of them have said they played that because of that cover.
Oh yeah, think of all the PR people that like early copies of that got mailed to that probably wouldn't have touched it except they're like, oh yeah, what's this?
All right, I'll put this over to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if this is Mark McGrath making these decisions. If it was the band as a whole, I feel bad. I don't even know the names of the guy in the band. I don't know how many guys there are in the band. From the stories I've read, I know that there's Mark, there's a drummer, and there's a DJ. I can hear guitar getting played. I can hear bass getting played. So I imagine that there's at least 5 guys in the band.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
But I know nothing about any of them. Although you know what, like for like the riff heavy stuff, some decent riff.
Yeah.
some good 90s riffage.
That's what I liked about it originally. I was just like, great riff record. No, doesn't take itself seriously.
Yeah, I can imagine if
That's right up my alley.
if I had been a little more exposed to it overall when I was like learning how to play guitar, especially when I learned about like drop D.
Mm-hmm.
There would have been a couple of times I would have tried to learn a few of those riffs, been like na 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 na. Yeah.
I just like too that this band has that, like you said, that they don't take themselves seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the main appeal to me of Sugar Ray, that it's just kind of just fun and they don't really care that much.
Yeah. They do like fun, they pick weird things, right? Like let's move, like if we move into Floored a little bit, they've got an Adam Ant cover there, Stand and Deliver. I always thought that was pretty cool, like.
Yeah, they have a couple of covers. What else did they
Oh yeah, and on Floored they have a well, it's not a guitar solo because it's a solo that's only engine noises.
Oh right, I forgot. They've got that Steve Miller cover, Abracadabra.
Oh yeah, that's on the next 14, one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember hearing that back in the day. I don't know where, but I remember hearing it.
Did you know Mark McGrath did a bro country supergroup called Uncle Ezra Ray?
Nope.
What year did that come out?
2015, and it was him, Uncle Cracker, and the singer of Better Than Ezra. Uncle Ezra Ray.
Oh, okay.
Wow. That Uncle Cracker I get. Better Than Ezra.
Yeah, that one was a little surprising. The Better Than Ezra.
He just happened to be hanging out in the studio now.
Yes,
like, hey,
yeah.
You want to do that? You want to get in on this?
Got nothing going on.
Not just me skimming the Wikipedia and totally interrupting the flow of the show. Sorry.
No, okay. Well, here's my question: when would you consider that their like career really dropped off? Because they've barely been making records. They don't really tour that much. They do go out once in a while. They've made a couple of random records here and a greatest hits album. But like, what was the last like hurrah? Like they only ever had two number one singles. They had maybe four in the top 10. They had a handful more that charted, but like, you know, I would say that by mid early 2000s, like probably about around like 2004, 2005, like,
Mhm.
they had fizzled out really. Like they
Yeah, I think that the title of 1459 kind of was the reality of things. Like they knew that this was like a 15 minutes
It
of
was
fame
really on
type
the
thing.
nose. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
well
Yeah,
well okay,
because after
so
that album, I think that's when it started to go downhill.
well,
But
I
I
do
don't think it's
remember hearing
because
When
of
It's Over
that.
on the radio a bunch in like 2001,
Hmm.
which is kind of apropos. Like, did they have any hits after that?
I'm still on the lemonade and brownies right now. Let me jump backwards
You
here.
don't need to get over
Um,
lemonade and brownies.
When
Well,
It's
you're
Over came out on the third album, which was the self-titled album after 1459. So they
Fourth
did
album.
have a hit with it. Because, oh, and the song Answer the Phone. Do you remember that one?
I don't remember answer the
no.
phone.
Answer the phone. I know you're at home. Something like that. It's really, really simple.
That was definitely after I was like, you guys
Out.
don't got no more fun riffs? Okay, I gotta go.
Well,
You
that's
were
why
out.
I
Yeah.
remember you saying the first three albums, Charlie, and
That's
I'm
what I
really
did. I feel like I thought that 1459 had a bit more of the rock on it, but then I kind of like I looked over the track list and I was like, oh yeah. I remember listening to 1459 maybe once, and I got as far, like I got to the Abracadabra and I was like, oh
but
boy.
it does open with a crazy heavy
It
song,
does.
doesn't
And
it?
you're like, okay, cool. All right, cool. And then it just like the rest of the album and I was like, oh, okay.
Well, and it's even a joke too that the fact that it's a super heavy song because after Fly
Mhm.
hit, right? So they knew that they were going to get a bunch of new fans that wanted Fly, and the very first song on the next album is called New Direction,
Mhm.
and then it's just heavy.
But it's
Right.
weird because it's a 48-second song. And then the last song on the album is also called New Direction. And it's a minute 18.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but also I mean, in the metal world, songs can go on forever, but like,
Mhm.
but they can also like in the punk world, a
That
song can come in at under a minute and be a legitimate song.
Yeah, but we'll go back to lemonade and brownies because I wanted to talk about Mean Machine just a little bit.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, hell yeah.
Uh, like that main lyric, like the chord. This is the most simple song, and that one main lyric, it's like it's slick. No, it's long and slick and olive
And
green. What
olive
is
green.
it? What is it?
It's a mean
It's a
machine.
car. It's a
Yeah.
meat machine.
It's a car?
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
Lincoln. That's why they sample the Commander Cody version of Hot Rod Lincoln. You know that line that's like, "My daddy said, son, you're gonna drive me to drinking." That's a sample
oh.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
from Commander Cody's version of the rockabilly classic Hot
Right.
Rod Lincoln.
Is that car in the video?
No.
Is that the car in the? There is a car in the video, but
Is there
that's
a
not
car
the
in the
car track.
video? All
I
I
think there
remember
is.
is the hockey, the
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 hockey,
hockey.
yeah.
Yeah, which is, by the way, they exactly the same in the video for Caboose. It's like
Did they
it's
shoot them
like
at the same time? No.
no, they went back and redid it. What happened is, I'm pretty sure the record label,
Hmm.
Atlanta or Atlantic, excuse me, Atlanta is a city. Um, Atlantic, when signed them on the strength of this fucking video they made. Right, that's all they had. Right, that was their demo. That was everything. That was them being like, "Look, we have fans because there's people in front of us in this video." Right. Um, So they were like, well, we're sold on the video. The video was whatever. So let's remake that video with a budget.
Mhm.
But for whatever reason, they picked a different song, probably because they felt that Mean Machine was a stronger song. Although, I gotta say, Caboose is actually, as far as like just like a cock rock song goes, Not bad. And also Mark McGrath is singing so much different than he sings. He's singing in a higher register. He's singing more like he's trying to be some kind of like, I don't know, like Sebastian Bach, Axl Rose. Like,
But he's not a good singer. Like he's
well, that's why he's not pulling it off.
no.
Yeah.
But that's what he's going for sure at that point.
He had the looks.
Well,
Yeah,
that didn't hurt,
the
right?
looks.
Let's
Yeah.
be honest. I'm sure once a couple of like, like A&R guys got to look at him when we're like, oh yeah, we could sell this face.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. 100% he had the looks.
Yeah.
What's a favorite track then? Really from that's maybe not a single from Lemonade and Brownies. Or Floored.
Oh, probably Big Black Woman.
Yeah?
No, 10 seconds down. Unless 10 seconds down counts as
Big Black Woman's probably the most in line with Mean Machine.
Yeah, it's true.
They're like spiritually the most similar. I don't know. I haven't listened enough to have any kind of favorite.
No, 10 seconds down for sure.
I was pleasantly surprised by the sense of humor though.
Yeah.
Like the title, like Danzig Needs a Hug, is
Dancing
great.
Needs a Hug. Hell yeah.
Also, as far as like the lyrics don't get that deep, but the song Iron Mike is about like the fall of Mike Tyson,
Mhm.
which is apropos. I think that's the second time I've got to use that word today.
They got flack for that song because
Oh, I'm
of the
sure
fact
they
that
did.
Mike Tyson had just been convicted of rape when it came out.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's what the song is referring to. I didn't do a deep dive into the lyrics.
When I
so-
was listening to it, like I kind of like I listened to it, but it kind of just seemed like they were just kind of like telling the story of Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
I didn't really. Maybe I didn't finish listening to the song, but I feel I don't remember it coming to any point where they referenced his charges or anything.
No, I don't think that.
I don't think they spell it out specifically.
It seems a lot
No.
deeper than any of the songs, you know.
There's no way they'd go deep with that.
No
No way. Yeah.
That's
Oh.
not what this is about.
Yeah. It's funny though, all the world embraces Mike Tyson now.
Okay, so yeah,
just
here you
because
go.
of Mike Tyson mysteries.
So right in the second verse, it goes, and we'd like to build him up, but we love to see him fall. Definitely referring to like
he was going through?
yeah, what he was going through at the time. I said you got to set him free.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess so.
yeah. Using this case as a publicity tool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
But he left him out to dry. The judge was a fool. Using this case as a publicity tool. So it's off to the cell to meet the prison staff. The first thing they do is want his autograph. Hey, you know what? There's something to here. Something to this.
that's not bad.
It was topical for the time, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kick ass.
Damn.
And then DJ scratching.
Kick ass.
See, what year did Rebel Without a Cause come out? Or without a wait,
Devil
what-
Without a
Devil
Cause.
Without a Cause.
Devil
Rebel
Without a Cause?
Devil Without a Cause.
Around the approximate same time, I suppose.
It
Like
was
what
a cause 98.
Okay. Do you think it's possible Kid Rock was inspired by Sugar Ray?
I mean, Kid Rock before Devil Without a Cause was just like all like rap stuff, right? Like because he's re-released or at least his earlier than
Yeah,
Bob
grits
with the
and
Boss stuff
grits
is
and
out
gravy
there.
or whatever that was called.
Yeah.
And it's like got this kind of old school, even for the time that it was
Yeah.
out. It was like a throwbacky sound. Because he
So,
rips
I'm
and
sure
raps
he-
and he
yeah.
hips and hops and he dibbity dops and he bops. Right? Like that's his kind of flow.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Old school.
Yeah, man. Wonder how him and Eminem are getting on these days.
Let's call him.
Let's call it. I'm just saying because they both publicly backed like the opposite candidate, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The okay, so after Floored was 1459. Later down the road, okay, so they did Sugar Ray, the self-titled. They had an album called Music for Cougars in 2009.
Yeah, I heard about that
See,
because I read the Wikipedia.
see, I
That's
haven't.
what I'm doing.
That's all I know.
I like it though. I like the sense of humor. Like
I
they're
don't hate
Yeah,
the sense of humor.
it's
It's funny.
I love
self-aware.
it.
They're like, we're long in the tooth. We're old. Even though it's crazy to think that people who would have been fans of theirs in the late '90s would have been Cougars by 2009.
Hmm.
Like it's only 10 years later. Like people are only pushing like their 30s at that point. Like give them a break. Like you don't have to call them Cougars yet. Cougars
Yeah.
now. Give it another 10, years or so. But fair enough. I'm guessing though, music for Cougars is just like I've not heard a track off of it that I know of, but I'm
Oh,
just guessing it's like the kind of music you would put on if you were hitting on the Golden Girls. If you got like Blanche over, like after.
Yeah, but okay, but how old were the Golden Girls in that show? They weren't that old. They were like our age.
No,
oh
Except for except
no.
for except for the mom. Yeah, they weren't that old.
they were like their 50s, right?
How old?
I think the youngest one on the show, but she was playing a little bit older, was 48 when the show started.
Yeah, and she was playing the oldest one.
No,
I guess they were.
Yeah,
that's not. What?
Sophia. The
Yeah.
youngest one played the oldest one.
Oh, I thought you meant Blanche's mom.
I do.
Or not Blanche's, I mean Dorothy.
Dorothy's mom. I do. Yeah,
Yeah, Dorothy's
exactly
mom.
who I'm talking about.
Estelle.
Estelle Getty. Is that her name? I think
Yeah.
so. I
Oh,
think she
let's
was
see.
the
Can we
youngest
name
one.
all the actresses from the Golden Girls? Betty White. That's
Betty
the
White.
one.
Fuck. Blanche Devereaux is
That's the character name.
the character.
Yeah.
I can't remember her real name. This is very sad.
B. Arthur.
B. Arthur was Dorothy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Estelle Getty and
And the other one.
Rue McClanahan.
No, Rue McClanahan, of course.
Got it.
Nice, nailed it.
So yeah, I guess after Music for Cougars is when he started focusing on his roles in the entertainment shows, and he worked for. So he started on the show Extra, and then after that he left Extra, and I think he's on Access Hollywood now. Pretty damn sure. But
Yeah.
that's good. That's a good career path for him, I think.
I mean, I was less surprised to see him on those shows than Rick the Temp when he was on the Canadian editions of all those.
Yeah.
Like it made sense for Mark McGrath. Like he fit in perfectly. Like, oh, he is such a Ryan Seacrest, like.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
But
Yeah.
I mean, he's charismatic. It's what made him a good front man. He was a good front man.
Yeah.
He's a good front man. Whether he's got the vocal chops or not, you can see why a guy
that's not important.
want to have him in front in the band, right? Like he's
Mhm.
good looking, charismatic, like he's animated.
Mm-hmm.
He can look at people from the tops of his eyes. Push his lips.
Yeah, you were right.
Those are
You were
skills.
right.
Those are important skills.
You were right about him being on Rock and Roll. He was on Rock and Roll Jeopardy on VH1. He won the finals. He beat Dave Mustaine.
What? Is this something I can see?
To win the title? McGrath is the 3-time champion of the show.
Does that mean that Mustaine and him like competed on multiple episodes?
I would love to watch Dave Mustaine compete against him. Yes, I
Can you
hope that's
imagine how
on
upset
something.
Dave Mustaine must look every time he loses
gets-
to Mark McGrath?
He's kind of a whiny guy, isn't he?
Well, he's just got
Mhm.
a permanent sour expression on his face.
He's still bitter about Metallica.
I guess less so. He's done more things with them publicly over the years, since that appearance in Some Kind of Monster. But man, I got to tell you, that whole movie is hard to watch. But those scenes where they try and get Lars and Dave Mustaine to hash it out, whew, it's brutal. It's brutal. I just felt icky watching it. I was just like, I want out. I don't like. Oh God, just grown men, millionaires with so many feelings.
The types of shows that Mark has been on seem very, you know, typical for him, I think. The Apprentice, Celebrity Wife Swap, uh, Killer Karaoke, Sharknado 2, Sharknado 3,
Yeah.
The Last Sharknado, The Masked Singer. Like, yeah, that's totally up his alley. I couldn't see him getting very far on The Masked Singer. Like, honestly, I don't think he would have. I think he would have been out pretty early. You know?
Maybe who like I've never seen The Masked Singer. I get that part of it is to try and figure out what celebrity is in the mascot costume,
Yeah.
but do they get judged on their
Yeah.
singing capabilities?
Well, it's not like down to technicalities or anything. It's more like everybody saying, "Oh, you were so good." Da 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 da. You know, I'm such a fan of yours, kind of bullshit like that. And then the judges go on with their guesses on who they think the person is. So they don't actually get to, you know, say critique the person per se,
Right.
but then the audience votes to see who they're going to keep every week. And it boils down to talent to a certain extent because you can't really see who the person is. Right. And then they show a clue package every week, a brand new clue package with little hints.
But okay, so do people get eliminated because they can't sing?
If they
Yes.
suck.
Yes, I'd say they do because there's really no other criteria to eliminate them based upon the fact that people don't know who they are.
Okay, so they
So it
whittle
is
it
it is
down.
pretty much based on their talent that people
Okay,
are
so they
judging them
whittle it
upon.
down to a few singers, and then what the judges win if they go like, "That's Dr. Drew."
Well, the judges will never really win. They kind of are like a guide to the audience vote with what they think their suspicions are on who the person is. But the judges do end up on the last episode of the season possibly winning the Golden Ear Award, which means how many times that which judge guessed the person right the most times.
Huh.
Then they win the Golden Ear Award of the four judges.
All right. Well, I don't know.
Yeah. It was fun. I liked watching it during 2020 when there wasn't much going on and you know.
Is it still happening? Is this still a thing?
Oh, this show's still on.
Probably, right?
It's still very popular.
Okay.
It's fun. I enjoy it. It's a fun show. I haven't watched it in a while, but I've had some of my favorites be on the show, so I like it.
I guess it does seem like the kind of show that would be right up Mark McGrath's alley, though.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Totally, yes.
he just made a career out of being a charismatic, good-looking guy.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know what that's like. Yeah.
Oh, the worst thing though. Oh my goodness, the worst Shania Twain song, the song I cannot stand, is a duet with Mark McGrath called "Party for Two."
Oh, that's right. And she did two versions of it.
She did the one with Billy Currington, the country version,
Yeah.
and then the one with Mark McGrath for the pop version.
Yeah, and it's weird because like the arrangement of the songs are more or less identical. The difference is like the instrumentation, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
The only difference is
Oh, that song's so bad though. It's really boring. It's really simple. I don't.
having a
It does nothing
party,
for me.
party
No.
for two.
He also put out a solo single called "Do It Again" in 2017, featuring. Oh, it's actually Mike Love from the Beach Boys. He put
Is
it
it a
out.
cover of Steely Dan's "Do It Again"?
Do it again.
Go
It says
back,
"Do It Again" is a
Jack,
song by the American
do
rock
it
band The Beach
again.
Boys that was released as a single in 1968.
Oh,
So
I,
then Mike
hmm.
Love redoes it in 2017 featuring Mark McGrath and John Stamos.
Oh, well, of course. John Stamos isn't he like a permanent member of the Beach Boys at this
Yeah.
point?
I think so.
Like like they don't always perform with him, but
But it happens a
he's
lot.
he's like the Neil Young, like he's the Y of CNSNY and sometimes Y.
And sometimes what?
Sometimes
Yeah.
And
Stamos.
sometimes Stamos.
Time
Stamos.
Stamos.
Yeah. And then I love how you have to these days because, for the longest time, Brian Wilson was not touring or playing or doing much of anything with the Beach Boys. So people would make the distinction and be like, it's Mike Love's Beach Boys. That's the Beach Boys that is like the Stamos Beach Boys is like the Mike Love Beach Boys. But
Yeah.
then once in a while, Brian Wilson will go out and, perform with the Beach Boys,
Hmm.
and then people are like, "Oh, it's the real
Then
Beach
it's the
Boys.
real legit Beach Boys.
No Stamos in sight."
No, I prefer the Stamos. I like Kokomo.
Well,
I'm
that's
all about
hilarious
Kokomo.
because you know that like Mike Love and the other members of the Beach Boys, one of the things they're proudest about Kokomo was they feel like that's the first time they managed to capture the Brian Wilson vibe, like in a post Brian Wilson, like a non Brian Wilson Beach Boys song.
Really?
And I think they're wrong. They're totally wrong.
Yeah.
Kokomo doesn't like, no judgment on Kokomo, like,
Just lots of judgment on
no, I
Kokomo.
just mean like that's not in my room. You know,
Yeah.
Right. It's a fine enough song, but don't
that's
compare
not
it
good
to, like,
vibrations.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
not
yeah.
even like Little Deuce Coupe.
But you gotta love that parody, Camel Toe.
Camel Toe.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever heard it, but I can
You're
already picture
Gucci, you're Snapper. I wanna see your flapper. Yeah.
it.
That sounds like a real karaoke jam.
Sounds like why you're
It's
going to Kokomo in the
definitely.
first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the Florida Keys. Who else is down in the Florida Keys? Not
Yeah.
not Jimmy Buffett anymore.
Oh.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't ever think Sugar Ray's really gonna get back together, are they? I think
I don't think
Probably.
they've ever officially broken up.
I think that, from what I understand, there's been a lot of falling out between Mark and some of the former band members. So I could see
Yeah,
it
that's how they
being
wrote
one of
Fly,
those.
remember?
No, even since then, like I could see it being one of those things where if you look at the on the Wikipedia, they had a lot of band members.
Yeah, well,
So I'm thinking he might be one of those things where, he fronts the band and it's just a bunch of other guys that he's hired
Right. I
kind of
mean,
thing.
they did something in 2019, didn't they?
they put it on an album
With Lil Yachty.
Oh, fuck.
with Little Yachty, or they just named it Little Yachty.
Oh, wait. Maybe it's just
It's the
called
name.
Lil Yachty. Yeah.
The album title's Little Yachty.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh,
They
so the album title is a reference to the rapper Little Yachty and the fact that
But yacht
McGrath
rock.
used Sugar Ray as yacht rock. Yeah.
see, that's what I mean. Like, I can't.
I don't hear them as yacht rock at all.
Yeah,
Do
but
you?
maybe it's that album.
that album, maybe, or maybe their career post, whatever their fourth album or so, or fourth album on is in its way like soft pop rock.
Hmm.
You know,
Maybe it's worth a listen. Right?
maybe it's full of like sexy
I don't
sax
know.
solos and
I
stuff.
mean, maybe it's worth a listen, but I mean, this is dope nostalgia. So
Okay, well,
it doesn't seem very nostalgic.
okay,
No.
let's characterize what, because like yacht rock is one of those genres that was named post the actual like we call it yacht rock now. Nobody was calling it yacht rock in the 70s.
No, it wasn't more like adult contemporary.
Yeah, it was 70s like, like soft rock or smooth rock or easy
Yeah.
listening. Right, but it's only that somebody somewhere, I don't know where, I'm sure we could go on to Know Your Meme or something and be
Once
like,
more people had some yachts that they were like out there sailing and
But,
hey,
like-
I've been listening to this Michael McDonald album.
yeah, exactly, like
On my boat.
sailing or something, right? Because it's like
Christopher
these songs
Cross
are all
on my
about
boat.
these songs are all about boats.
Take me away.
Like where, but here's the thing that those lines get blurry. Like where, like what's the quintessential? Like, is "Careless Whisper" a yacht rock song,
Mm,
or is that fully on into like new wave or like just 80s pop?
well, you know what? It's time to look at Yacht Rod on Yacht Rot.
I've
Rot?
heard Duran.
Rot?
Yacht rot.
I've heard Duran. Get like referred to as yacht rock.
Yeah. Does it come
Are
up
they
when you
yacht
listen to
rock?
the yacht rock
It
station?
might, yeah. Does Rio count as yacht rock? It seems like it's too upbeat.
So yacht rock is originally known as the West Coast sound or adult-oriented rock, commonly associated with soft rock from the mid 70s to the mid 80s. So yeah, I think that does fit
Okay, well,
in
here. Let's see.
there.
What happens if I go? Yeah, I'll just.
Okay, but "Wake Me Up Before You Go Go" isn't not yacht
No.
rock.
That's not yacht
But
rock.
I
"Careless
think it has
Whisper"
to be a
could be yacht
certain
rock.
tempo.
So like a song could be yacht rock, but a band might not be a yacht rock band.
Yeah.
Yes. I
So
think the only one you could really call yacht rock artist would be Christopher Cross.
Well, I'm sure
But
there's bands that are yacht rock bands, but like, you know, sometimes it's just a song.
yeah.
lady.
Yeah, I think it has
Sometimes
to
it's
be
just a
mid-tempo.
touch of Hall and Oates, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Your kiss is on my list. I could see that
yeah,
being
I
kind of
could
yacht
definitely
rocky.
throw that on a yacht rock playlist for sure. Anyway, the only reason I took us down that rabbit hole was to be like, Fly. Could Fly be a yacht rock song?
Yes.
I feel like it feels a touch too upbeat to be a yacht rock song.
Okay. What about Every Morning?
Slightly too upbeat. Slightly, but
Well,
closer.
I listen, I've done
A little less, not quite enough adult contempo. Still too aiming too young for the age group.
well, all
I think
right.
that isn't that the thing for yacht rock is it's a little bit more adult contemporary, a little bit more like
Mhm.
you've aged into it, and then like things like Sugar Ray songs are definitely shooting their sights at a younger age range, which would now be
Wait.
cougar, which later in their life would be cougars.
Well, no, I'm just thinking that maybe that's where they found themselves. If they're like, the more we lean into this soft pop rock side, the more we find ourselves basically just making modern yacht rock.
That's very possible with their last couple of
I'm
albums because I've
speculating,
not heard
and I could just
anything from.
listen to it and find
Yeah,
out. But
there's no
Mhm.
look, Quinn. There's no possible way we could know the answer to this ever.
what I'm saying, I'm like,
So
but I just, is I appreciate that these guys exist, that they have the sense of humor they do, and I
Mhm.
still can't bring myself to be bothered
yeah,
to
no
listen to
thanks.
any of it. So,
I don't want to getting in my algorithm any more than it already
well,
will
the
be
fact that
because of the first two
I haven't been
albums.
playing. I do that thing where I don't like like in this case, Spotify being kind of my primary, like this is my taste. I want these algorithms and the AI bots to cater a little more to my actual tastes here. I don't want to monkey this up with like doing research for a Sugar Ray episode.
Because
Nope,
sometimes
nope, don't do it.
sometimes you listen to a Kid Rock album once and then it stays in your Spotify blend for like a whole year.
It
Yeah.
makes me feel dirty, you know?
So I don't dare hit play, but maybe YouTube,
You can
maybe
cheat,
Apple
but you
Music.
can
I do
cheat.
the researches on YouTube now, so it doesn't like it kind of annoys my front page when I log into YouTube later, but that'll go away eventually.
You
Well,
you
But I don't want it touching my Spotify.
you can cheat on Spotify now though, can't you? You could like go to the album and then hit that little preview window and then flip through the songs and it'll just play little clips of the songs. I don't think that messes up your algorithm.
well,
Oh,
maybe,
is
but
that
still, just
And then you can just like sample and so you're like, I don't know. Huh? Do I
I know you
really wanna?
can. I know you can make playlists if you're willing to do this much work, and then you can go into the playlist and you can select that it won't affect your algorithm.
That seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, exactly. So,
But when we talk about Yacht Rock's great comeback, lately there is a seven-piece band called the Yachtly Crew,
Yachtly Crew.
and they have a residency at the Palms Casino Resort in Las Vegas. Yay.
that just kind of sounds like a Lounge Against the Machine kind of,
Lounge Against the Machine, yeah.
yeah, vibe.
Oh, what's that dad band?
Well, okay, according to my Spotify, their most played song is Every Morning.
I mean, probably.
Someday. Yeah, these songs all sound the same. Every morning, dude. Someday. You think Someday could be a yacht rock song?
Again, I think the reason that
It's
they
not that upbeat. Someday.
no, not because of the tempo, but because it's not really. I don't know that it's considered adult contemporary. I think for yacht rock, you have to be more adult contemporary, whereas
Right, but like,
they're aiming at a younger demographic.
hey,
is what
but
I'm saying.
then that doesn't match our definition. The definition we came up with yacht rock was saying you could have a yacht rock song, but not be a yacht rock band. So you don't have to be an adult contemporary band to have a yacht rock song.
That's right.
Yeah, but I just
This
feel
is a
like there's
micro-genre.
too much youthful energy
And someday,
in their general pop poppy feel of it.
Yeah,
Like
I
they're
picture a yacht rock artist to be in like their mid 30s and
These
they're
guys were
sad.
definitely in their mid-30s by the time they were doing this.
Okay, maybe they're 40s and they're but older than Sugar Ray. And they're sad about something like, there's a thing here. It says, okay, factors that list as relevant to yacht rock, high production value, jazz and R&B influences.
They got that.
Use of electric piano.
They got that.
Use of elite Los Angeles-based studio musicians.
I don't know about that. They definitely recorded in LA.
Complex and wry lyrics about heartbroken, foolish men, particularly involving the word fool.
Oh, there's got to be Sugar Ray lyrics that use fool. And then he rhymed it with cool.
And
Thought
an
you were cool. You were just a
upbeat
fool.
mid-tempo type rhythm called the doobie bounce, obviously based on the Doobie Brothers, right? Considering Michael McDonald is a very huge, I would say, very yacht rocky artist.
What do I think of when I think Doobie Brothers? Do I think yacht rock?
Steely Dan.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, is Blackwater a yacht rock song though? That's more of a country rock song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to put this conversation on the show. Do we leave it in the main show or do we put this whole yacht rock special thing
It's a
on
whole
the
different
side?
thing. It's a whole other
Well,
thing.
we're just kind of on a tangent, but I was just the only reason
love
I
tangents.
is that I'm trying to justify why they would think that maybe they are yacht rock at this point without ever having listened to their latest output.
Without listening to their
just
yeah.
speculating.
It might just be all electric piano, Doobie Brother, like Doobie Bounce songs, tempo songs, whatever.
If you like pina coladas.
Oh, that's so yacht rock.
Yeah.
Escape.
Oh, but you know how people always think Escape is who's that guy you just talked about from the Florida Keys who passed away? Jimmy Buffett?
Jimmy Buffett, yeah.
You think
people
he's
think
yacht
that's Jimmy
rock?
Buffett?
I think a lot
I
of
think
people
that's
think
Jimmy
that.
Buffett a lot, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Do you think that people think Jimmy Buffett is yacht rock?
People think that, and people think that Rupert Holmes' song Escape is a song by Jimmy Buffett.
That.
Oh, I could believe that. Just like a lot of people, because of a handful of mislabeled MP3s back in the Napster and LimeWire days, they'll think that Bob Marley, even though it doesn't sound anything like Bob Marley, wrote Dreadlock Holiday.
10cc.
Yeah. There's another band that every single they ever had sounds totally different from the last one that you would never know is the same band from song to song. So there you go. Just like Sugar Ray.
Just like Sugar Ray.
Well, except that Sugar Ray singles all sounded the same.
To bring it on back, yeah. No, they didn't. Some of their early singles were
You
different.
think Someday doesn't sound like Every Morning?
Those ones do.
Close your eyes
But-
and I'll take you there. That one?
Yeah.
They also had like
Someday. I was arguing with Charlie while you weren't here that could definitely be a yacht rock song.
I'd say so. And actually,
Still-
I think that is my favorite Sugar Ray song.
still feels too
Someday.
youthful.
Too youthful. I don't
Too
know
youthful.
why you keep saying youthful.
Too poppy and youthful to be a yacht rock song.
Well, if Careless Whisper can be a yacht rock song,
I'm sure Wham. There's probably other Wham. Wham would be a yacht rock band, I think. What else is by Wham? But no, Wake Me Up Before You Go.
that's definitely not yacht rock. No.
But what else they got? I think anything that they would do, like Last Christmas on the yacht. Last Christmas of the yacht. Oh man.
Yeah, I really know 3 Wham songs.
Yeah. Baby, I'm Your Man's not yacht rock.
I mean,
Oh, Wham called Club Tropicana. Can I share this with you guys? Let's do this.
Looks like it, anyways.
well, there's water.
There's water, yeah. He's definitely on
Might be on a boat.
I think it's gonna depend on the tempo, right? What is this, jazz? Why is the rhythm so off? Okay.
That doesn't sound like yacht rock at all. No. The video, when videos were videos.
Oh, film scratches.
This might have been shot on legitimate film.
Probably just a filter.
Yeah. AI. Ooh, I'm Australian, I am. Yeah, of course.
Oh, maybe it's a little too upbeat.
The straightest bad I've ever seen.
This is not yacht rock, but
Okay.
But I am questioning my sexuality right now.
does he have like a little ponytail in the back? He's got like a little rat tail growing there.
Oh man, he's gonna have to clean that pool now.
No, it's more like Miami Sound Machine.
That is way too not soft.
Do you know what would be yacht rock? That Donnie guy, the one
Benet?
that Donnie
Donnie
Benet.
Benet is yacht rock-esque.
100%. Ooh.
Yeah, see, Someday is a pop rock song, not soft rock.
Well, I mean,
too poppy, not soft enough.
Really?
That's it.
All right.
That song, that's all
Very
we just
soft.
listened to. Way too poppy.
Yeah, that's super.
Not
That's
soft.
That's poppier than Someday.
Oh, 100%. I see. I agree with you on that. But also, still, some days too not soft.
Like, what is it? Is it the beats? The DJ made beats?
Yeah, maybe.
There's no turntables in yacht rock. Is that what you're telling me, Charlie?
I mean, I not being a extreme connoisseur of the genre, couldn't tell you for sure.
Okay. What's the prime yacht rock song? Is it Sailin'?
Yes.
Christopher Cross?
I'd say so.
Like, that's peak. If you had to, just nail it down and show somebody, and they were like, I've been hearing all
what?
Rock, what is it?
According to Google, yes. Sailing is number one of top of the list.
That makes sense.
Now, here's a song by Kenny Loggins and Michael McDonald called What a Fool Believes. So it's got to be yacht rock because it says fool.
Yeah, right there. Which looks like it's either number 2 or number 4 on this list of the biggest yacht rock songs.
This song?
Yeah, What a Fool Believes.
Do you know it?
No, I just Googled it.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if you've heard it because I just want to see if I know it. Okay, let's see.
Nice ad blocker.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Oh, so much keyboard.
Oh, yeah, I know this song.
Oh, the minute I heard it, look, there's people sitting down on stage, like they aren't playing a piano.
Oh, it's a Doobie Brothers song. Yeah.
Hey, but see, according to your definition, Charlie, this is too poppy.
Yeah, but it's not youthful enough to be pop rock.
What?
These dudes are definitely.
They got some gray in their beards.
Look at them.
Well, isn't it Mike McDonald that they always use an example of a guy whose career was ruined by music videos? Because once everybody started knowing what artists look like,
there we go. Oh, never.
They were like, ooh,
never mind.
I gotta get pretty.
He's not ugly, though.
He's not, yeah.
He looks like
oh,
the
what's
dude
this
from
old
Alabama.
dude singing this song?
He looks like the lead dude from Alabama.
Hey, isn't that the
This
guy from the
video, anyway.
Muppets? From the Electric Mayhem?
Yeah. I like this song.
This is great. Yeah, look at him. There he is.
I definitely. These microphones are weird. What are those ribbon mics? What are they?
They're usually used on
Is he
instruments.
in a recliner?
Yeah, he's sitting down. He's just chilling.
He's just leaning
This
back.
music's so chill that he just
The lazy
it.
boy made for guitarists.
he couldn't be bothered.
No arms.
I need that in my life. Yeah, look at him. He's got his leg crossed. Hell yeah.
This is the opposite of Mark McGrath. All right,
That's it. And that's why
okay.
they're not.
I have a way to bring this back around to Sugar Ray.
Okay.
Can we watch Shrinky Dinx Caboose
Yes, let's do it.
and then compare it to the video?
To what we just saw.
Well, yeah, and to see the difference.
Okay. This is awesome.
Okay, but then
that French Bulldog's in a lot of their videos.
Yeah,
The
so-
two of their videos.
so we've all seen the video for Mean Machine, right?
Yeah.
Tell
Not in a
me-
long time, but
Tell me this is not like well, it is. This is what they did. They made this video. This is what got them a record contract. The record label was like, make that video again. Here's money.
But this one came first.
Yes. This is when they were still Shrinky Dinx.
Oh my goodness.
It's the
yes.
same video.
Yes.
Exactly.
The song is. This sounds like Kid Rock.
Yeah.
I already like this riff better than Mean Machine.
Well, this is way more 80s rock influence.
That's probably why.
Like, listen to this 80s inspired vocal from Mark McGrath too.
He's actually singing better in this one too.
In a higher range. This is the first McG video too.
Is this about butt sex?
Pretty sure it's about having a nice ass. Yeah.
Caboose, yeah.
The high note is fucked up.
Ow! Okay, now put on Mean Machine video.
Hold on, check out this breakdown first. This is the video they got of like,
Oh yeah, that's the pit.
oh look,
where
we're in a
they're
pit. Look at our fans going crazy for us. No actual shots of the band on stage. They're clever.
I like this song better than Mean Machine. No surprise there, but it kind of sounds like GNR influence too.
Yeah, totally.
Like-
Other
like
than saying all of
Appetite.
that, it's so weird though. They came to the sound. Oh, here you go.
There.
It's 90s. Now it's Len.
No, it's Len.
Feel my sunshine. But yeah, like 'cause they got a guy, they got a DJ in the band, you know. Like, in a weird way, this is ahead of its time,
Yeah, no kidding.
right? Isn't that so weird to say? Because like, obviously they recorded this sometime like, I don't know, 94, 93, 94. And even though the sound of some of this is throwbacking a little bit even dated at this point.
Yeah.
But like
My
the
first
breakdown,
boyfriend looked like
the,
him
like-
in this video.
Okay, now do Mean Machine video. I want to
Okay.
see how similar because it's been too long.
It's dusty.
well, just imagine that Caboose is proof of concept, and now
Yeah,
you have a
they're like,
budget.
okay, well here.
Same video. Oh, but now they got a studio set.
Yeah, because that one was like 80s rock caboose, and this one's like punk rock. Right?
I think that's where they get the reputation of being the most sold out band of all time. Is people think they were a punk band,
But they weren't.
but they never were.
There's a car. They just said Sugar Ray. Did you hear that?
They said their name. Wow.
Oh, sorry. I was still thinking they were Shrinky Dinx.
Caravan, there you go. That's the car they're talking about. Yeah, the Mean Machine, the 68 Lincoln Continental. Also, that stage looks like the Comedy Store. I wonder, it does. It looks like the Comedy Store.
It does, yeah.
I wonder if it was. No way it was shot. That must be on a set.
For sure. It's just some soundstage somewhere.
That dog
Sweet.
is my favorite member.
Oh, is this Fly? I just wanna fly.
Put your arms
Sweet.
around me, baby.
I still like both of those songs. Those songs are
MySpace.
awesome.
That's the last time Sugar Ray was relevant. MySpace.com/Sugar
MySpace.
Ray. That's hilarious. That's when they were like, hey guys, you heard of this new thing called YouTube? We should put all our old music videos on there. Yeah, I looked.
For something new.
They pulled the video for Psychedelic Bee.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. It has been listed as private.
What?
So you can't watch them play it on Howard Stern no more.
It's got to be out there somewhere, but
Mm-hmm.
not on the YouTubes.
All right. So
anyways,
what's the consensus?
These albums are great. Well, okay, Lemonade and Brownies is great. Florida's less great.
Well, the question I would like to pose to the
Is all the yacht rock.
No. No, that was just a weird rabbit hole that we went down because we're not actually all that interested in Sugar Ray. We're just, but no, did they earn the reputation? Like, do they deserve the reputation? Is what I should say. Do they deserve the reputation of being the biggest sellouts of all time?
I'm going to say no because of the fact that I think that Mark McGrath, I can't speak for the rest of the band members, but he was very influenced by all sorts of music genres when he was young. When that happens, I feel like it kind of means there's no problem. You want to experiment and try different things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, commercially it looks bad, right? Because like you said, you throw spaghetti at the wall if it's and it, that stuck, so they went down that path. So that looks bad. I get that. But I don't know. I don't see them authentically as punk or anything either. I just think that they're just a mishmash of whatever.
Yeah, like I think you see it right off the hop that they're experimenting with different styles. They have different tastes. Different band members have different tastes. The fact that the story is that Mark McGrath and the like walked out of the studio for apparently a couple of weeks, and they were like, "Fuck, what are we gonna do? We're gonna lose our record contract." He finally came back, and we're like, "All right, well, you guys been doing anything?" And they were like, "I don't know. We just been playing around with beats, and the beat they
Yeah.
had was Fly." And he didn't
Well,
even
they had written the song Fly. They were working on the song itself. Like they
yeah, yeah,
had,
yeah. He didn't even write the lyrics. Like,
yeah. They were like,
yeah.
no, we got this, and they showed it to him, and he was like, I hate it. It sucks. We're not doing a song about flying. This is stupid. And then
I'm
they're
not sure if
like,
that's how it went down, but
no, it was kind of the way he was like, no, this is terrible. I hate it. And they're like, okay, but like work on it a little bit. And then he kind of rewrote a bit. He wrote some of the verses to be about whatever they are. And then he was kind of like, okay, well, it's kind of cool now.
anyway,
Yeah.
what say you, Charlie?
You know what? If you ask me in the 90s,
Yeah.
so first I get, 10 seconds down. I'm like, oh, this is sweet. And then I hear Mean Machine. I'm like, okay, this is sweet. And so I check out Lemonade and Brownies. And then Floored comes out. And I was like, okay, this is sweet too. There's riffs all over here. This is great. And, Flies on it. But like, I've heard Lemonade and Brownies. I get it. They go, they mess around. They do different things. But then you get 1459 and you get, okay, great, cool, big heavy riffs to start the album. Okay. And then it just is gone. And that, to me, if you would ask me then, yeah, okay, sold out. You're not, you got paid a bunch of money to go commercial, and then now and now you're softer, not softest, not yachty, but, but for me at the time, I was like, yeah, no, that's a sellout. That's not what whatever small fan base they had was still towards, the heavier riff kind of stuff until Fly came out. And then they were like, okay, well, obviously the record people want this, so we'll do more like this. And I think they sold out, but I don't see it as necessarily a bad thing. For now, if somebody offered me the opportunity to sell out and make a bunch of money doing something, I'd probably do it. I'd sell out. It'd be great to have a bunch of money and then be able to do whatever I want after the fact, like.
And a lot of people have done it.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, okay.
It's just like they got offered the chance to, do you want a record contract where you get to make more music, or do you want to get dropped from your label and go back into obscurity?
Well,
Be that band who did a couple of things in the 90s.
I'll give them this, that they have the sense of humor about it, at least, seemingly do, that they're self-deprecating and self-aware enough or whatever to be able to kind of poke fun at their reputation and their legacy. I mean, at the end of the day, here's the thing. Like a band like Black Flag, who not only doesn't do what, anybody in the industry wants them to do, they don't even do what their fans want them to do. Right? Like they'll go down in history as artistes, people will remember them
for
their
sure.
integrity and for their artistic output. And maybe that's the legacy at the end of the day that, some people are comfortable with. Or
that's not what Sugar Ray got into this game for.
Well, but that's what I mean. It's clear from the start. Once you kind of know the story, you go, oh, this was totally a different thing. So yeah, I think, if you say that they sold out, then that is basically implying that they are ever legitimate to start with.
That's right. That's right. Like if your motto right from the beginning is make music, get laid, have fun, don't take yourself seriously, then like they're going to care if they sell out. No, not really. It's people who take themselves really seriously who will not sell out.
Yeah. And getting to know a little bit more about the band, and even just kind of digging in and realizing like, oh, right from the start, they obviously had a sense of humor. It's like, I can't hold anything against them, like if they had denied it at any point, or maybe they did for a little while, but maybe they came back around, maybe like, Mark McGrath talking about when he got called Sugar Gay. And he was like, I was in my ego era or whatever. But obviously, like on either side of the ego era, like, he didn't take himself so seriously. It's like, that's kind of refreshing, when so many artists are so up their own asses about their art and what they do. Like, God, I know some people are getting applauded for it these days, for being up there and being so goddamn self-serious and having a stance and whatever, and like, and then at the end of the day, you're like, you make goddamn pop music where you fucking like do cheerleading, like, not talking about anybody in particular, but you know, like,
I think it's that new girl you're talking about.
What are you talking about?
but
That
I'm like,
new girl, right?
but I'm like, you're up there doing fucking like cheerleading rants about like whatever, you know, nothing.
That chick?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Wrong.
But anyway,
Okay.
but I'm just saying, I'm like, but then, you know, off the stage and like in interviews, you're like scolding like reporters for not being polite enough to you or whatever. Like, fuck off, get over yourself.
For sure. Quinn seems pretty hot to go over this whole situation. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, it's refreshing when somebody is like, yes, I make pop music for fun, to have fun too. I have fun making it. It's fun to listen to. It's fun to be at a show. It's fun.
Yeah. Fun is fun.
Just don't call me sugar gay.
Yay. I like that.
More like fun. Sugar yay.
Sugar yay. Well, thanks, guys. We have fun yet again.
Hey, we brought it around in the end, so.
Totally.
We did good. We just got lost on some yacht rock.
Just got stuck on the yacht a little bit.
That's okay.
Social media, yeah, we've got it. Send us an email, dopenostalgiapodcast@gmail.com. Twitter, nostalgia dope. Or on Insta, dope_nostalgia.
This podcast is licensed by SOCAN because we believe that artists should be paid for their work. Hi. If you enjoy Dope Nostalgia, thank you. Consider becoming a Patreon subscriber today for as little as $1 a month. It helps keep the show on the air and rolling. So if you want to check out our Patreon, it's at patreon.com/dope nostalgia. $1 a month, and you'll be helping support one of your favorite podcasts.